يا لغتي عربية حسبي بأنك منطقي وبياني عربية قلبي.
Shake your hand.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, my only grievance with Tommy Robinson is that why will he not come and say hello like you and me have said hello? That's my only grievance.
Well, I think we both know that Tommy Robinson has been built up as a hate figure by the liberal media, who have libelled him as a racist when he clearly isn't, and they have turned people unthinkingly who don't look, who don't do any research, as you and I both should. And they have gone on to then see Tommy Robinson as like, you know, a Nazi when he clearly is not. And that's the reason why he can't come down here, because if he did, he'd be attacked.
Okay, well, why does he not come across and say, excuse me, I don't like you, I don't like your religion, I think all Muslims are bad or good. Why does he not say it in that way?
Well, he's actually said exactly the opposite. He's never said that all Muslims are bad.
No, I'm saying,
never said all Muslims.
He's got a problem
exactly
with Islam. Okay, he's got a problem with Islam, he's got a problem with the verse of the Quran.
I have a problem with Islam.
Okay, but like I said, we are still conversing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that's my argument. Why can we not speak? So if you've now defeated me in this argument, let's say you have, I'm not here to debate or argue, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to say you've done okay, well done. I'm not going to scream at you, and I won't shout at you, and I won't kick off at you, and I won't get aggressive.
But let's be honest, you're not representative of everyone in the park, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
So therefore, pointing to yourself as an example of normal, quiet discourse like me and you are having, you can't extrapolate from that everyone else will behave in the same way.
No,
but that is what you're attempting to do.
I'm attempting to do that.
But you're not doing it very well because it doesn't work. It's a logical fallacy to generalize from oneself, one's own experience, to everyone else's experience. So that's why Tommy Robinson can't come down here. Let's be clear about what Tommy Robinson has opposed. He is opposed.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, not a pop gun business. Vice versa. You can't do the exact same thing. So like, he can't generalize his experience to everyone in this. I agree. He comes here and generalizes his experience.
Well, hold on one second. Tommy Robinson, I think that it is clearly prudent and wise that Tommy Robinson doesn't come down here because he will not be able to come down here and not be attacked by somebody else. I'm not saying that. It might not even be a Muslim. It might be someone who's been. He might be one of these left-wing anti-fascist, white soy boy, middle-class do-gooders who's been whipped up into a frenzy because he thinks he's fighting the Nazis. I'm not saying that it's a Muslim that will attack him. It could be any of these thuggish kind of people. Because
I'm
sorry. It's the only thing to say that there's not violence on both sides. And there's not agitation on both sides.
in what sense?
In the sense that if he does come here, definitely there will be someone who's going to agitate. But vice versa, are there not people who are not, you know, a bit like...
So can you tell me someone, what are you trying to suggest? That supporters of Tommy Robinson would come here and insult? Is that what you're talking about? Well, that is again a good reason for Tommy Robinson not to come here. Because that will create a conflict.
But then that's not supporting heritage sentiment.
Yeah, but we're talking about the fact that the gentleman asked about Tommy Robinson. Why doesn't Tommy Robinson? The fact is we can't get away from who Tommy Robinson is. He is a public figure.
I think the reason in particular they asked why Tommy Robinson himself is not coming down is because he's very selective with who he gets interviewed. I'm sorry, Reggie Pongo. I'm sorry, but you
best fight that I've heard all day.
If it was a thing where he did come down here and interview, say, Ali Dawah, right? Who's
a man who... Hold on. Hold on.
Let me finish.
No.
Let me finish.
I'll let you finish and then I'll respond. I'll let you finish and then I'll respond.
He doesn't interview people like that. He goes and finds people who he knows are less educated than Ali Dawah, a lot more educated than Ali Dawah.
Yeah.
And uses them as a resident.
Can I respond? So he's described Ali Dawah as a moderate Muslim. Let's just be clear about who Ali Dawah has been on camera supporting and naming as people that he endorses. Ali Dawah has named scholars, and I don't have those names to roll off the top of my tongue, but I have seen the scholars. He has named people who have condoned violence.
Like who?
I've just said I don't have the names to roll off my tongue, but he is also. This is Ali Dawah. This is Ali Dawah, the moderate, who has embraced scholars who have condoned the use of violence against slaves. Incidentally, Ali Dawah is someone who has endangered 2 families for his own personal vendetta, innocent families, by the way. And he's someone who in debate thinks that talking about masturbating over babies is a normal, acceptable way to make arguments. This is the moderate Ali Dawah. I would hate to see what you would consider an extremist if you consider Ali Dawah a moderate.
Well, here's the thing, you've just given a very kind of like vague and inaccurate representation of Ali Dawah. Right?
We'll put
Now,
some
you comment about how Ali Dawah has cited people who are, in your views, extreme.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Does anyone remember Anders Breivik?
Of course.
The guy who killed
That's right.
77 Norwegians in order to stop Islam from coming to the West. He was known to have come to the UK, spoke to people of the EDL, and cited them as tutors to his actions. Now, Tommy Robinson is the founder of the EDL. He has not been asked to come out and apologise upon the actions of Anders Breivik. The British public have not been held accountable the same way the Islamic community has been held accountable for the rhetoric that has caused these kinds of things.
Okay.
Can you explain to me, right, how my representation of Tommy Robinson in that particular instance is different to your exaggerated representation?
I can actually quite easily. Because I can actually quite easily. I'll do it very easily. Because Ali Dawah has endorsed people who are on record as inciting violence against slaves and against other people. Tommy Robinson
Despite
has
him condemning all kinds of violence and all kinds of slavery.
Sorry, did I interrupt you? Did I interrupt you? Did I interrupt you? So I'll carry on. So Tommy Robinson did not and has not cited people who are inciting violence. He has simply cited people who have been critical of Islam. It is a sad fact that amongst certain members of the Muslim community, that any criticism of Islam as an ideology is in their mind the equivalent to acts of violence. And I think that that's quite telling of some kind of distorted worldview disconnected from reality.
It's the delusion of the British public. They seem to think
Can we not mention Ali Dawah because he isn't here?
But you're happy to mention Tommy Robinson and he's not here either.
If I may, you asked me, are you the guy who wanted to meet him? That's the only reason I referred that to him. I referred that you wanted to meet me, didn't we? That's all. We don't want to discuss that because he's not here. But if forget it. Forget talking. If Tommy Robinson wants to speak to me, he has my number, he has my home address, he has my office address. Him and his boys welcome, anytime, any day. And if Ali Dawah turns up here, then you can ask him directly. It's no point us saying that he said this because he's not here.
I tried to debate Ali Dawah a couple of times and he runs away each time I do.
He's a busy man.
But
I've never seen Ali run away.
We've got it on camera. We've got it on camera.
He'll be here and then you can speak to him. And personally, I didn't like him when he debated Tommy Robinson, but that was my own personal reasons. I think when you have a debate, Bob, like yourself, you should be able to, like you two gentlemen are doing, one person speaking, and you're speaking, Bob. I think that's the way, instead of shouting and...
I was going to say in particular, I think this is the delusion of the British public in general. They seem to think that only certain people should be held accountable for their actions and not themselves. In particular, we'll talk about, say, these grooming gangs that are going on.
Yep.
Grooming gangs have been going on for years. Sex tourism is a big problem in places like the Philippines, and that's been going on for years. That's predominantly white males.
Yep.
Can I ask, what makes the Islamic community so special that they need to first come out and address their sins before you?
Okay, firstly, I am not part of I don't consider myself to be British in the sense of the British community. I'm a Christian. And as a Christian, I belong to the church. So I answer for the church and the church's history, not the British public, who I consider to be in a state of apostasy. I consider them to be in a state of, for the most part, they are not Christian, they're atheist, they're agnostic, So I'm not going to defend the British community, but what I do find interesting is that you have made a distinction between the Muslims and the British, as if to suggest somehow that the Muslims are not British. I mean, do you see the Muslims as being separate from the British?
I think the Muslim people who live in Britain quite clearly identify themselves as British. Same as Ali Dawa, he'll come out and say,
so is it meaningful? So is it meaningful then to make a distinction like you are doing between the sex gangs of British people and the sex gangs of Muslims? Aren't the Muslim sex gangs also British citizens?
So are we trying to create a separation between Muslim gangs and British like supporters just generally?
Well, that's what you've just done.
Fair enough, that's what I've done, but you didn't answer my question either. So if we're gonna go into that, you want to answer my question first. And my question was, in particular,
we're trying to ask these boys about knife crimes and what's happening about in London and why there's so much hate that people are killing each other. Why?
That's
since last Thursday.
Right-wing media
Since last Thursday.
Supposedly
Yeah,
the
I'm just-
police
that's what I mean.
do not intervene with these practices and all of these problems because they don't want to be seen as racist.
But that is the truth.
What stopped the police, the NHS, and the British public who funded and fueled Jimmy Savile's perversion for 50 years?
Good man.
What stopped them from stopping him? They knew.
Well, there's
Is there racism?
Absolutely.
Bob,
no.
Can I ask you about knife crimes?
In terms of, let me address this question. In terms of the police not doing their job, there are countless examples that we can point to. Jimmy Savile got away with what he was doing because of the fact that he was Jimmy Savile, the celebrity, the boss. He was this
That's
person.
not an excuse.
And it isn't an excuse.
That's not an excuse.
I'm not using it as an excuse.
You are. You
You're
are
asking
currently
me.
using it
You
as an
asked me
excuse.
why I'm trying to answer the question. Permit me to answer the question
go
without
ahead.
your interruption,
Go ahead.
unless of course you just want to do a monologue.
Go
In
ahead.
which case I can
Go,
let you.
Bob, go.
And that was inexcusable. The reason why Muslims in places like Telford and Rotherham and other northern towns have not been challenged for what they are doing, and the police have said themselves that this is the reason, is that because they are afraid of being accused of being racist. That is the reason that they have said, their own testimony. Now that doesn't mean that it's right. It just means that that's what's happening on the ground, and the narrative and ideology that does that. Okay, we've got someone who thinks he's a cuckoo. We've got a narrative and an ideology in liberal society that doesn't want to call a spade and doesn't want to call a problem a problem.
Liberal society.
Yeah,
Bob,
liberal society.
may I
is
just
the
say
problem.
one
Yeah.
thing, and I'd love to say this on camera. You know, people are saying gangs, Muslim gangs. Let me define a Muslim to you first of all. A Muslim is a person who follows, submits to. Let me get. It's absolutely clear. You get a gang of Asians, Bob. We go and do some nasty things with a gang of girls. That's it. Why is it not classed as a gang of Pakistani boys born in Thingy? Why? This is the absolute truth, Bob. If I may, let me tell you. You tell me a Muslim who goes to the mosque, who prays 5 times a day. That's basic. Who fasts, gives charity. This is basic. This is not a religious guy. This is basic. A basic Muslim. And this is my problem with the world, is a person who's a Muslim will go to the mosque and pray. Will fast. I'm sorry, but this is fact. I say this to the world. And then he prays, then he gives charity, he helps creation, he controls his tongue, he doesn't swear. That's a Muslim. You give me one gang of 5 people that have done that, then I'll listen to it's a Muslim problem, not an Asian problem. If you want to say Asians have been caught in Rochdale, I'll go with you on that. And I'll be the first, and I'm sure every person will be the first. Let's all find these people. I'm sorry.
The reason why it is right to call them Muslim.
No, it isn't, Bob.
May I
Sorry. Can I finish? Yeah.
I'll let you finish and then I'll reply.
So you show me 5 people who go to the mosque, who give charity, who do all the things, who've been on the 5, the basics. This is the basic Muslim, not a good Muslim, guys. Basic.
I mean,
May I reply? May I reply?
Just finish that. As soon as you find 5 people like that in the country, not one, you give me 5, then I'll start to answer your question by saying it's a Muslim. Then I'll open the Quran gladly. You find 5 people with brown skin, Bob. That's all it is. It's brown skin. they're from Kashmir, they're from India. We don't even know. 5 people or some idiot that knocked some people over. As soon as he's this colour, that's it, Muslim. Oh my God, he's a terrorist. Oh my God.
May I reply?
There was a genocide last night.
May I reply?
Sure, Bob.
Okay. So, I mean, the reason why it is right to say Muslim
was not.
grooming gangs. No, may I reply without you interrupting? Yeah, thanks. So you know, controlling the tongue, that's what you said. Control the tongue, be a good Muslim.
Sorry, Bob.
So, the reason why it's right to call them Muslim grooming gangs is because they aren't Christian Pakistanis, they aren't Sikhs, they aren't Hindus, and they aren't atheists. They are identifying themselves as being a good Muslim. Control the tongue, be a good Muslim, control your tongue. This is what happens.
No, it doesn't happen.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Finish it. Let me finish. All right. So it is a slur on Asians in this country.
It's better
to call them. Asian grooming gangs. It's a slur on everyone who is not a Muslim. Now, let me finish. Let me finish. It's clear to say. It is clear to say that this is not something that that all Muslims condone or all Muslims practice, and there are clearly far more examples of good Muslims. But it is true also to say that there is a noticeable sociological pattern in terms that you can identify common traits, and it is connected to the Muslim community.
I do have to ask.
Let's talk about the Christians in Pakistan. The Christians in Pakistan who are being kidnapped and raped.
Yeah.
Let's talk about,
where?
Where?
I'm a boxing coach.
That's not a good.
Let's ask that.
Can I say one thing, guys? Can I say one thing? Yeah, okay.
It's a cultural problem.
Just because I feel like
It is a cultural problem. I'm not blaming Islam. I'm blaming the culture.
So now you just changed from Muslims to
They are
We're getting there.
Muslims.
We're
They
getting
are
there.
Muslims.
I'm sorry to keep cutting you off.
They are Muslims.
Can I say one thing?
You're lying to say they're not.
No, it's not. I've just got you from. This is why certain people, not mentioning names, don't talk to me. I'm a boxing coach. I've been a Pakistani national coach. I sat with all the Christians out there. We talked on how we can pay our bills. And when we talk about this up in Bolton, it's how do we work, how many hours. I'm freaked out by you parking places. I'm freaked out by the knife. I'm freaked out by the anger.
Yeah.
But listen to me. When you get a gang of people, again, who kidnap somebody in Pakistan, please show me as a boxing coach. No, we're not talking about religion, and we shouldn't bring out any books. But the problem is, Bob, you've mentioned that it's people of Pakistani origin who've been caught in Telford. It's people of Kashmiri origin who've been caught in Rochdale. Yes, you're 100% right.
Are they Sikhs?
Yes. No, they're not Muslim. But
Are they Christians?
No. You tell me one person. Tell me one person. Yes, but brother, tell me one person.
Do they call themselves Muslims?
No. Listen,
I think they do.
Okay, just a minute.
I think they do.
All right. Okay.
think
Hang on.
they do.
I'm a Man
They do.
Now, let me answer that one. Okay, I'm a Man United fan. All right. All right. And those guys that. Okay, so when one Man United fan over there, one Man United fan over there, right? I don't even know where Man United is though. That's the problem. I don't even know where this ground is. But one person goes and smashes a bus over there, right? That's it. All Manx are bad. Oh my God, all Manx are bad. So as soon as a Manx union,
People are not saying all Muslims are bad. I am not saying all Muslims are bad.
So there's no kidnapping.
Hold
Let
on
me
one
get straight.
second.
There's no
We brought up
kidnapping.
this-
I was a Pakistani boxing coach for 3 years. I've never ever. I've stayed in Pakistan. All the cities in Pakistan. I don't know if you have, Bob, but I have never ever heard of that, seen that, or anything. Bob, have you been to Pakistan? And
I
seen
know
that?
Pakistani Christians.
But have you been there and
I
seen
know
that happening?
Pakistani Christians who lived in Pakistan.
But have you seen
That's
that
not
happening,
the
Bob?
same as
Have you seen that
Allow me.
happening?
So
I
allow
have
me to
not-
reply. Allow me to reply. Allow me to reply. No. Allow me to reply to him and then you. Allow me to reply to him.
Major cities,
But allow me to reply.
That's not a fair response.
No, allow me to
Oh, but
reply.
I've definitely
Allow
said
me
it
to
doesn't happen.
somehow
I'll definitely go
Raju Congo thinks that me replying
Congo.
Somehow my reply is unfair because I'm replying. You figure out the logic for yourself. So no, allow me to reply. Let me reply to him, and then you can speak. Yeah, let me speak, then you speak. So let's be clear. I'm not stood here saying all Muslims are bad. This is the narrative that you're trying to use to silence people who want to talk about a real problem.
I'm not silencing you. I'm asking you
by accusing anyone who wants to talk about a real problem of some kind of prejudice, of some kind of gross generalization. I'm clear, not all Muslims are bad. I do believe Islam is a bad idea, right?
Okay.
So, but it is clear that the grooming gangs in Telford and Rotherham are Muslim, right? And getting around that by saying they're Asian is to insult every Pakistani, Sikh, Hindu and atheist Asian who is living in this country. Now, you talked about Pakistan. I would invite everyone who's watching on YouTube and everyone who can hear my voice simply to go and look up reports by the Barnabas Fund, by Christian Solidarity Worldwide, by Release International, by Voice of the Martyrs. They have first-hand testimony of Christian families in Pakistan who have had their children kidnapped, raped, and forced to become Muslims in a society that does not want to listen to their suffering. They are second-class citizens there. Now, your turn.
Can I quickly ask, we brought up this theme in the beginning about taking accountability, right? And I made it quite clear that the Muslim community has been held accountable quite profusely over the actions of a few individuals, right? Throughout this conversation, I've heard you mention Christian this, Christian that, Christian this, right? Not once have you acknowledged the fact that Christians, Christians in particular, are quite predominant in child abuse themselves. To the point where it's like a factory. It's been going on for decades as well. It's like a machine. They churn out abuse cases from the Christian church. So please, can you tell me, with your logic of thinking, what does that lead us towards a solution to Christian faith?
Okay, so his assertion implies an idea that the Christian community is not held to the same account. Let's be clear. The Christian Church has had its own scandal of sexual abuse within the Catholic Church. Yes, exactly. Yeah. To an alarming and terrifying scale.
No, it's not alarming.
Society held the Church to account. The Church has been prosecuted, the Church is paying for its crimes, the Church has had to acknowledge its crimes, the Church has had to address its crimes. So we as Christians are not being treated by some preferential position. But notice the difference. I am not here complaining. Notice that. These guys are complaining. They are complaining.
What are we complaining about?
That their community is being held to the same standard that my community is being held to. But my community is putting up our hands, practicing personal responsibility, and we are saying mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Our fault. It's my fault. It's all my fault. And we are repenting for what we have done wrong. We are changing the policies within the church. We are outing paedophilic
Where are
priests.
the laws to stop Christians from coming across other countries into the UK?
Hold on one second. I have not sought to defend it. I have not sought to lay the blame on other people or to blur the lines. But yet here we've just seen for the last 20 minutes 2 Muslims trying their very best.
He's not a Muslim.
He's not a Muslim,
Excuse Bob. I think Bob is very well versed.
I apologise. I assume you're a Muslim. But you're not a Muslim?
No, Bob.
You're not Muslim. I apologise.
I'm going to close this chapter.
Why?
What we've seen.
I'm going to close this chapter.
What we've seen is 2 people.
Only one God.
One who's a Muslim. clearly trying to excuse the Muslim community. It's double standards. We don't need it. We don't need to practice it. Please notice. Once again. Where's the control of the tongue and personal responsibility?
Bob, can I just give me a second?
I'm going to call it a day, Bob.
I apologise. I apologise.
You Bob, you bad man. You're a horrible man, Bob.
Yeah.
You're claiming that we're excusing. At no point have none of us said any of this is
You
right.
tried to say it
No
wasn't
wrong
Muslims.
that we said
You tried to
right.
say it wasn't
We're
Muslims.
asking-
We're trying to say you're trying to portray that it's a
Trying to
Muslim
say it wasn't
problem.
Muslims.
No,
I'm saying it's
asking
people.
in particular why people aren't held the same accountability as Islam.
And I
as people
demonstrated
who are
that we
Muslims.
were. The Catholic Church is.
Okay.
Where,
and they're all Christian.
Where is the call for Christians to be stopped coming into the UK because they present a
يا لغتي عربية حسبي بأنك منطقي وبياني عربية قلبي